Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I said welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast with Andy Ruther and Joe Prano. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast.
Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, with my co-host from Port Hueneme, California, Joey No Chill Prano.
It feels weird to have my head attached to my body, Andy. The DJ Sizzle floating head.
If you're watching this on
freaking
video,
out, man. You got a fucking dart in your neck.
I said to DJ Sizzle, I said, let's actually do an intro. And he sent me a couple today. And I said, were you on LSD were you on high when you made this?
He's DJ Sizzle.
What
I love it. Honestly, I think we should. I love it. And you were like, oh, we'll just wait for him to revive. I was like, no, man. It should be like a draft revisions. You know what I mean? Like eventually this will take shape, but we're going to put on every version until we get to a final one just to see where it could go.
We have a second.
I kind of like the floating head. I like the Andy Ruther and Joe Prano popping in. Honestly, more psychedelic. That's what I'm thinking. A little more Bill Walton.
Because I went the opposite. I was like, dude, how about just our logo with just a song? But you're
I think other floating heads. Where's Jameis? Where's Dan Campbell's floating head? Where's Juan Soto's head going in an acid trip from a Yankees hat to a Mets hat? Let's go. Float more floating heads.
Well, I mean, who makes the list?
This is where DJ Sizzle gets a little I think Jameis should be in there. I think Isla should be in there.
I'm trying to think.
I think Vince should be in there in black and white. Some fools we lost along the way.
Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Jordan, LeBron.
Yeah. Fucking
Eli.
Yeah. Mark Davis and his fucking bowl cut. Anybody dead's in black and white. Bill Walton in black and white.
Aaron Hernandez.
Richie Incognito's granddad. More floating heads. That one makes sense because he was decapitated with a samurai sword.
Man, he was a little before his time. Like Richie Incognito, he would be cracker of the day on Antonio Brown's Twitter feed.
Yeah.
Like if he did that nowadays.
The audacity of the white kid that posts that every day. Cracker of the day.
I would love to see the picture of the 28-year-old white kid running Antonio Brown's Twitter account.
I just have a feeling he looks a lot like He Who Shall Not Be Named. I just think it is a Coke bottle glasses wearing MAGA white kid.
I think it's a Southern.
Yeah.
I don't think he's as dorky. I think he's comb over. I think he reeks of Alabama or Ole Miss fraternity boy.
Yeah.
Personally.
But didn't go to any of those schools. But wished he did.
No, I think they figured out. Didn't they think it was like some kid who went to University of Central Florida?
Oh, was it? Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
Didn't we talk about it?
University of Central Florida.
What are they?
They're the Golden Wave or some shit like that.
Golden Knights.
Golden Knights, yeah.
I think didn't Daniel Tosh go there?
Did he?
Yeah.
That tracks.
I'm looking at the comments.
And Dante Culpepper.
What a
Gordon's kid.
What a great call out from A. Millie. Britt McHenry giving Tim Tebow.
Tim Tom Tebow.
The rusty
Rum Tum Bugger.
We had a title, Britt McHenry giving Tim Tebow the rusty trombone.
I don't know if you read any of the Fox sports stories, but that's not out of the realm of possibilities at this point. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if Tim Tebow offered Britt McHenry $2 million to get a rusty trombone.
I did read the Fox Sports stuff. Joy Taylor getting tossed around like a sorority girl in a fucking frat party. Like I was laughing. A mastiff dog in the intro. This is unbelievable. Yeah, I like seeing all. I'm telling you,
This is gonna get wild. Like pardon the interruption. They have those heads in the background. We're taking it into the 21st century. Floating heads, all these wild floating heads, and then they just finish up with Andy Ruther and Joe Prano.
Yeah, I like it. Again, you do your creative. You have discretion, whatever you want.
Yeah,
DJ Sizzle. So we'll have fun with that. I'm sure the dirt balls will enjoy that. And yeah, man, we had a big snow day here. So I'm
yeah, what's going on? So no daycare for Isla.
The whole city was like shut down.
Whole city shut down.
For real.
Did the East Coast get snow too? Or is this just a Midwest thing?
I think it hit the Midwest. It hit like Kansas first, like Kansas City, and then it hit here. I don't know what it was. It was like snow, then sleet, then snow. But I think it was like 9 or 10 inches. But it took me I have a tiny driveway. It took me an hour and a half to not even do the whole thing. It was so compacted. Yeah, everything was shut down.
You guys don't get snow like that enough to
No. But the temp, it's not going to be above 30 degrees for like 2 weeks. But it's like in the teens. So that shit is here to stay. So I got, yeah. I mean, like her work was called off, like that type of stuff. Like,
yeah,
nobody's driving.
Her work was called off, meaning what? They closed the pharmacy?
Well, she works for UC, University of Cincinnati.
Right.
And they this was all predicted. So they filled all the scripts on Friday for people. So, oh no, I'm sure Walgreens is open, bro. That place, don't even get me started. How they run? She's like, dude, had I been still working for them, way those places are run. It's like the NFL. Bottom line, man, you are just a number. Get your ass into work.
Yeah,
which
that's why we're killing CEOs, Andy.
Well, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, man. I know it's messed up, but they don't mess around. But here we are. Speaking of bottom line, is this Black Monday? Is that what they call it in the NFL?
Yeah.
Right.
Because no black coaches get jobs.
That's true.
Because all the black coaches get fired. They're like, Gerard Mayo, we're going to hit you on Black Sunday.
Bro, who didn't see this not working out?
The Gerard Mayo thing?
Like, I think everybody was like,
here's the thing about, I know there's been a lot of criticism of him. I've heard a lot of Boston types criticizing him. But let me just say this. What type of season did you expect to have?
Well, that's my thing. I agree.
First year head coach is usually super duper successful.
No,
and here's what it feels like to me is they want Vrabel.
100%.
But Vrabel was available last year. So what the fuck are you doing?
Well, again, this was set in place forever.
Okay, shit is set in place forever. Okay, sometimes
I don't know what forever means. I don't know why I said that word. I mean, like, he was the guy that Robert Kraft had handpicked, is my point.
But I don't think that there's any chance anybody ever thought at any point he was a better pick than Vrabel. Listen, a lot of fucking the Democrats did the exact same thing and fuck this. Like our world is where we are today because Bernie Sanders was the obvious guy, and they're like, well, 8 years ago, we promised this dumb fucking cunt that it was going to be hers. So that's just what it is. Fucking 8 years later, we're like, look at this shit. Like sometimes you got to pivot.
Well, I think I like politics, which you're mentioning. Sports and politics are always similar to me. There's too many egos, and admitting, at least Kraft is at least he admitted he fucked up. Like at least he admitted that.
This is where it's unfair. Is like you didn't really give Mayo a chance.
I agree.
You just now think that there's a better option out there. What's annoying is the better option was already out there. So you should have been like, listen, I know I promised it to you, but coming under Vrabel, we just can't pass up on him. Work under him. You'll go get a head coaching job. You really want to come in here with a fucking rookie quarterback coming after Bill Belichick? Gerard Mayo wasn't getting another job last year if it wasn't the Patriots.
No, he wasn't. And
so he's walking away from an NFL coaching gig because you promised me. Well, sometimes people lie.
Well, here's the thing. The Vrabel not being hired last year didn't make much sense to either of us anyway.
No. Especially by the Patriots.
Yeah. But you not talking about this. A lot of these things don't make sense. No. The Bears have requested to interview Mike McCarthy.
Well, that makes sense because the Bears don't know what the fuck they're doing. They once gave Mike Glennon like $18 million a year. The Bears are a horrifically run franchise.
They really are.
That actually tracks perfectly.
They really are.
That makes sense. The Patriots aren't a horrifically run franchise.
I have a theory on your Giants, and I'm sure people have talked about it since you guys are keeping your coach and your GM. Is the long play arch for real?
I mean, I don't know.
How's that as a theory? Like the long play is we know we had 2 bad seasons. We want to suck again. The QB class wasn't that deep this year, according to analysts.
The one that's coming up.
Yeah, the one that's coming up right now with Shedeur Sanders and the kid from Miami. But the argument could be made.
But then the idea is you keep them so that you can tank, so that you can get Arch, and then you get another coach next year.
Yeah, it's a wild conspiracy. I'm just throwing it out there.
Listen, I would not be shocked if they talk themselves like, dude, I want Arch.
But that's my point. I'm gonna say this because obviously I've seen a lot of talk on what the hell is going on with the Giants, and I guess my point would be, and you'd agree, I'm sure, you're nothing without a franchise quarterback. So you could make a good argument.
I don't know that you're nothing without a franchise quarterback, but you're nothing without you're nothing if you go with Drew Lock and Tommy DeVito. Here's the thing. I think
it's tough to contend for a Super Bowl without a franchise quarterback.
Sure. But you don't become a Super Bowl contender right away anyway. So there's always the bridge guy. But I think the Giants were very un-Giants-like since Tom Coughlin left. They took wild swings at head coach on numerous occasions. Ben McAdoo is the wildest, dumbest swing. It's one of the worst hires in professional sports history. You're incompetent, and your resume is you were in a room with Aaron Rodgers. You had the exact same fucking resume without the 8-4 college season that Bill O'Brien did. You once knew a guy who was really great at playing quarterback. Horrific. Then you had an ultimate shithead retread with Pat Shurmur. And then you did the Joe Judge Belichick tree. Like you didn't go down to the Belichick tree. You got a branch that had fallen off the tree for like you took
second cousin removed.
Yeah, you took Bill Belichick's special teams coordinator. Why didn't you take Bill Belichick's dentist? And then they get a guy who actually has a legitimate coaching resume, and they're like, we can't do this fucking you fire a coach every 2 years thing again. That's why they're sticking with him. And I'm sure he's convinced them their quarterback play is the reason that he can't do it. Look what I was able to do in 2 weeks with Drew Lock. The truth is, though, Dable was successful with Daniel Jones year one. So what the fuck happened after that? Oh, he regressed, or you stopped taking it easy on him. Again, we've talked about this with McVay. We've talked about this with, other coaches and other quarterbacks. The best way for you to endear yourself long-term, it might not be your best chance to win a Super Bowl in the shortest amount of time, is go 7 and fucking 10, like, oh, look what he was able to do, blah, 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 blah. But like you not making it easy on Daniel Jones to prove Daniel Jones isn't the guy did not serve you, because now you're the third pick in a draft where the quarterbacks aren't that good.
Yeah.
You want to tank? Should have tanked fucking last year.
It's true. But, it's I get not firing your coach every couple of years. But what? He's been with the team for 3 years.
Yeah.
It's tough to keep a guy that's had less wins each year.
Oh, yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Right? Especially in a Super Bowl or bust league. I don't know. I mean, it seems like they're kind of in a bad spot for the franchise that you haven't really seen much in our lifetime.
Listen,
what am I missing?
Right now we're in the Kent Graham, Dave Brown era of the New York Giants.
Which was when?
Which was mid-90s.
Yeah,
we went Danny Cannell, Kent Graham, Dave Brown. We had the era between Phil Simms and Jeff Hostetler to, wildly enough, Kerry Collins, which is also an insane. Kerry Collins was a disaster as well, but they managed to, make some runs, including one all the way to the Super Bowl. But I mean, Kerry Collins was a retread who, washed out of the Panthers because they were an expansion team, and he blah, 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 blah. But really, you were between Phil Simms, Hostetler, and Hostetler really wasn't never the guy, but you were between the Phil Simms era and the Eli Manning era. That's where we exist right now. But what we're looking for is Kerry Collins, if not Eli Manning. Like, if you can't get Eli Manning, get Kerry Collins to at least fucking. And I hated Kerry Collins, for the record. Hated. I was one of those guys. I was like, he stinks. And his offense coordinator was Sean Payton, and I was like, and he fucking stinks.
Well, again, they made it to the Super Bowl, man.
And got their asses smacked.
Well, for sure, but I'm saying you made it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It's interesting seeing just, who's keeping their jobs, who's not. There's obvious ones like Peterson out in Jacksonville. You have Pierce, who still hasn't been fired yet in Oakland. I'm sorry, in Las Vegas.
The Raiders.
The Bengals fired a bunch of their assistant coaches.
Antonio Pierce is a great example too. Like, played a couple teams tight this year. Like, who was he supposed to beat this year?
I mean, I think that's a valid point.
It's like I think there's been plenty of coaches through the years who were fired, and I'm like, I mean, it's, coaches and quarterbacks, they have a lot in common. Like, Sam Darnold's a bust, Geno Smith's a bust, Zach Wilson's a bust, Aaron Rodgers is a bust, they're a bust, they're a bust. Every guy who's ever paid, and again, this is why our boy Kyle Aronofsky has a fucking grimace tattoo. Every quarterback that's ever played for the Jets is dog shit, or the Jets are dog shit. Every head coach the Raiders have ever had was incompetent. Which is it?
No, I agree. And I think if your quarterback situation is terrible, and the Raiders is a prime example, the Raiders quarterback situation is terrible heading into this year. It's terrible. Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew. Like, that's a terrible situation. I agree. What are you supposed to win?
Yeah. In a division with the Chiefs and the Chargers.
And a Broncos team that has traditionally had a good defense.
Sure.
And
but even going into the year, you're like, you're not finishing first or second in your division.
No.
You know that to start the year.
Yeah.
Because you can't put a fucking quarterback out there.
Exactly. And I agree. I don't know. I don't know what you expect. Like, what's the bar? What's the expectation?
The Raiders will sign Jameis. And
then 100%.
The Raiders will sign Jameis, and then you should fire Antonio Pierce for not taking Mark Davis and hanging him outside the owner's suite by his ankles like he's Suge Knight and Mark Davis is fucking Vanilla Ice to stop him from signing Jameis Winston. When you let him sign Jameis Winston, when you don't go, if you sign him, I quit, and you guys sign him, then you should get fired.
Yeah. Well, we got a nice drunk call from Randy Ruther.
Ooh.
Blacked out. Text me today, said the irony of it was we were texting during the Steelers-Bengals game, each other. And then he said we were having like, I didn't know he was blacked out because he didn't sound blacked out on text. And you obviously you can't tell via text. And we were just having discussions about the Bengals, but also like the NFL. And he had a question about the Bengals and the Niners. And he said, I'll leave. He goes, should I call? I go, yeah. I go, that's actually a good discussion. Text me today. He goes, I left a call. No memory. And I said, it's actually not a bad call. I said, I'm going to play it. So, our boy, Justin Wood, Randy Ruther, blacked out drunk Saturday night.
Hey, you sandbagging sons of bitches. Randy Ruther here, drunk as fuck on Wilshire Boulevard. And I drink at Thunderbird, not Q's, Prano. Shut the fuck up about Q's, dude. I don't even go to Q's anymore. But, hey, question for you. My beloved Bengals just won a game. But we're not getting in the playoffs. So there's no way all that shit's happening. My question is two questions. The Bengals or 49ers? Which team would have done some more noise in the playoffs? And honestly, are the Bengals, is this offense the best team to never make the playoffs? Scott, hear what you say. Yeah. Can Randy Ruther get a who day or what, motherfucker? See ya.
Well, listen. First of all, let me start off by saying this. He clearly proceeded to get drunk after that. He's not blackout drunk there.
That's what I'm saying.
But I think he's on his way to getting a blackout drunk. And so then what happens is he hit a blackout drunk, and his iPhone started to wipe some memory. His iPhone started to delete some apps to just free up some space. Because he sounds fine there.
Yeah, it sounds like he's having a good time. He's feeling good. His squad just won Saturday night primetime game. And that's kind of what we were talking about on text was like, well, he spinned the question a little differently. We were talking on text, who had a more disappointing season, which by the way, I've said earlier in the season on this show, I asked that the Bengals or Niners. Both top 5 Super Bowl odd favorites for Vegas entering the season, which like a lot of people forget, both top 5. So it's kind of interesting. I kind of went back and forth on this. At the end of the day,
I know. Let me say something right here. I know some fucking Bengals fans are going to talk about the third wide receiver or the fucking nickelback or some random fucking linebacker. But the bottom line is the 49ers this year were decimated by injuries to star players. The Bengals weren't.
That's fair. I wasn't thinking you were going to go there. What I was going to say was, I was going to say it's more disappointing for the Bengals because this was kind of the year again where you don't know the future of your receivers, and again, Vegas odds favorite. My thing about the Niners was they've been to what, 4? I believe I could be wrong on this, but I think 4 NFC Championship games since Shannon. Like they're always right there. 2 Super Bowls, 4 NFC Championship games. In my opinion, it's like the Niners will bounce back. I think you probably agree. Like
they might, but it might not be as fast. Like it might not be next year.
Okay, but my thing is, they are we talk about franchises. They are a well-run franchise,
and also again, they have an excuse. Like yeah, it's the next man up, but like decimated by injury, like Ayuk, McCaffrey, like big fucking major players on their squad.
They were down like their 3rd, 4th string running back.
Yeah. So the idea, like, oh, and again, I know some Bengals fan out there is like, we lost our white slot receiver for 3.5 games. I don't give a shit. You had Jamar, T. Higgins, Burrow for the majority of the season.
Yeah.
The vast majority of the season.
And their running back really came on. Chase Brown had a really nice year.
Which, by the way, you let Mixon go because you're paying everybody and blah, 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 blah. And you can't pay all the people. So, which, by the way, smart, something you have to do.
So his question was, is this the best offense ever not made the playoffs? I'll be honest. It's statistically speaking, because I had to go on a dive. It's actually not even close. Statistically speaking, well, first of all, I want to say this. Everybody talks about the Bengals offense. Dude, they were good. They had a lot of shitty games. They scored 10 points against the Patriots. The Bengals offense this year was 6th overall in points per game. 6. You weren't even top 5. So like,
it's pretty good though.
It's good. 9th in yards per game. It's not. He's talking about historically. Dude, there were Saints teams, and I looked this up. I was gonna say. I knew. I was like, I'm gonna find the Saints teams.
7-9 Saints teams where fucking Drew Brees threw for 5,000 yards.
It's exactly what it was. And I picked up 2. The 2012 Saints team that was 7-9. We're 2nd in the league in scoring. The 2012 team, let's see who they had. Drew Brees threw for 5,100 yards, 43 touchdowns, led the league, of course, in both, kind of like how Burrow did this year. You had a 1,000-yard receiver in Marquise Colston.
Yeah.
You had a 1,000-yard receiver in Lance Moore, a 982-yard receiving season from Jimmy Graham, who only played 9 games.
Jesus.
I'm sorry, only started 9 games. Yeah, so I'm saying, like, you basically had 3,000-yard receivers. You had you had a 3-headed monster at running back with Darren Sproles, Pierre Thomas, and Mark Ingram. Like, that 2012 Saints team was loaded. And then the 2016 Saints team also goes 7-9, is also 2nd in the league in scoring. And you had Breeze, you called it, 5,200 passing yards. The offense was basically the Chase Higgins combo for them, both over 1,000 yards, was Brandon Cooks and Michael Thomas.
Yeah.
And then you had Mark Ingram, who rushed for over 1,000 yards. It's like, statistically speaking, those Saints teams are actually
not to mention, it moves so fast in the NFL, but like 2012 is an eternity ago. So like throwing for 5,100 yards in 2012 is like a fucking big deal.
Yeah, and I see a comment, and I forgot to say this too. Thanks, A. Millie. Sean Payton was not the coach in 2012.
Right.
That was Bounty Gate.
Yeah, yeah.
So like those Saints teams just had no defense. You know, obviously the Bengals defense wasn't good this year, but like, I mean, I would say ultimately, I'll tell you what, Justin, you're not gonna like to hear this, but dude, the bar is so low. It is so low for that franchise. The Bengals tweeted out after the win the next morning.
Another winning season. 4
straight years with a winning record. You have Joe fucking Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and dude, they're literally proud of 4 straight years with a winning record, which included back-to-back years not making the playoffs with Joe Burrow.
4 straight winning seasons and $60 American will get you a hand job behind an Applebee's. That's what that'll get you.
It's embarrassing. And dude, you were right. I didn't pay too much attention to it. You talked about it last episode about the Chiefs Bengals fan thing and the Bengals fans saying, dude, I couldn't get over it after that Broncos Chiefs game. The amount of Bengals fans who think the Chiefs were scared of the Bengals.
We got a comment, I think, on our Substacks, and we were like, disappointed in the Bengals take. It's like the insanity of it is, let's imagine a world where the 15-1 Chiefs, who beat the fuck out of everybody for every fucking game, like are the favorite in every game that they've played since Patrick Mahomes is week 5 in his first season. Okay, let's pretend in a world where that team is scared of somebody. Wouldn't they want the Bengals to come in and beat the Bills?
100%.
Wouldn't they want that?
Yeah, because they lost to the Bills.
They go, they'll take that's a tougher deal. You think the Bengals are looking at a 2 weeks? The post-bye week the potential post-bye week matchup with the 7 seed that upsets the 2 seed? It's so fucking dumb that it can't be quantified how fucking dumb it is.
RG3, I'm sure you saw, I quote tweeted that. I just kept doing troller morons. RG3 tweeted that the Chiefs were so scared of the Bengals.
It's so dumb.
Dumb.
Look at all the things that have to happen. First, the Bengals have to get in. Then nobody, not anybody, not Joe Burrow, not Jamar Chase, not Justin Wood, not his alter ego Randy Ruther, not your fucking neighbor, not fucking anybody in the Bengals ownership. No one in their heart believes the Bengals have a better chance to beat the Chiefs than the Bills. Nobody. So the idea that the Chiefs wouldn't want the Bengals to beat the Bills so that they maybe don't have to play the Bills ever. Nobody. Joe Burrow does not believe the Bengals have a better chance to beat the Chiefs than the Bills. And the dude bought the Batmobile. So he's fucking a little bit crazy.
But hey.
So yeah,
the
get in your fucking Ford Focus, drive to Applebee's, and drink unlimited margaritas until you die in the parking lot. You absolute fucking clowns. And RG3, I mean, the audacity. I'm just assuming RG3 sucked off Skip Bayless for $1.5 million. Why is this guy even like? Who's the next great analyst? Tyreek Hill? Why were you in the league? I run faster than everybody. Want to be an analyst?
It's so insane to me. And again, the fans are so stupid. They're so dumb. They're so dumb because they think they started 3-0, Mahomes, Burrow. It was a few years ago now.
Okay.
They've lost the Bengals have lost 3 straight to the Chiefs now after beating them 3 straight.
It's literally the equivalent of saying that at some point late in a Patriots season, they were angling to avoid Eli Manning and the Giants. Well, if we lose to the fucking Cowboys, the Cowboys have a chance of knocking it out. We don't want to potentially face Eli Manning in a Super Bowl 4 rounds from now. He's 2-0 against us in Super Bowls. You think Tom Brady gives a fuck who he plays in any game?
Well, and you know what? And that's my thing, man.
And you know why I bring up Tom Brady? He's the closest thing to the best quarterback we've ever seen play the game, which is Patrick Mahomes.
Well, that's what I was going to say. And I'm glad you brought that up. It's like, and I think nobody talks about that. Do you think Patrick Mahomes cares? Guys, this is not talked about enough. When he has the ball with the game on the line, no one comes close to me. And I've said this, not even Brady. Like, I just have a feeling every time I watch those Chiefs games, and it's backed up statistically, it's backed up. He's going to lead them on a game-winning touchdown or a game field goal drive. Here's a fun fact, which, by the way, I thought was false, which I don't know if this is going to change your opinion of him, but it's not changed my opinion, but it definitely makes me think now more. Do you know, in 7 playoff games, I'm bringing this up because I'm talking about how great Mahomes is in the fourth quarter. Do you know in 7 playoff games, and I'm not saying this is entirely his fault, but this is a jarring stat. In 7 playoff games, Joe Burrow has never thrown a fourth quarter touchdown pass. Do you know in 7 playoff games, the Bengals have had 1 offensive touchdown in the fourth quarter? 1. Now, they've won some games on field goals, but you see, my point is this, guys. Joe Burrow is great. I like Burrow. You like Burrow. I think he's a top 3 quarterback.
It doesn't change my opinion of Joe Burrow because Joe Burrow is the quarterback of the Bengals who are only there because of Joe Burrow. Again, this is the Eli Manning fucking Hall of Fame argument. The Joe Burrow and the Bengals went to a Super Bowl, right? But they started out their first year with a 3-13 or whatever the fuck it was. Then they have
like 6-10 or something, 5-11, whatever.
They have 2 shitty years before Burrow goes to the Super Bowl.
No, they went in his second year.
So they have 1 shitty year. Then he goes to the Super Bowl. Now they go 9-8, 9-8, and
no, then they go AFC Championship.
Right. But what was their record in that year? My point is this. Yeah. My point is this. You're telling me 6 years from now, as the quarterback of the Cincinnati Bengals, who historically, the idea that they also played in a couple fucking Super Bowls in the 80s and the fucking 90s, then they were dog shit again. You telling me 7 years from now, if Joe Burrow is still the quarterback of the Cincinnati Bengals, it's insanely out of the realm of possibilities that he's 2 games under 500? No, it's not out of the realm of possibilities. Joe Burrow is the reason they have had the success they've had. But the idea that he can carry a team on his back for 15 fucking consecutive years, even though they are historically mismanaged to death.
Look, and I agree. I mean, I have it right here for you because I was curious too. Last year he got hurt, and then this year. So he said 27 starts the last 2 football seasons. It's so funny that you bring this up with Eli and the record. Joe Burrow's 14-13 in his last 2 years. So he's right at 500. Because I agree.
I guess he's dog shit.
Yeah, you need a team around you, man. You need a defense.
And they're a bad franchise. They're a historically bad franchise.
100%. Okay. So now we're greasing the wheels a little bit. We're talking QBs. I got a conversation. I want to see where you're at on this. So I'm watching the Vikings-Lions game last night, and I thought in the first half both quarterbacks had some really bad play, and I predicted 3 turnovers. There was only 1 by the QBs, but there were a lot of near misses.
Didn't Goff have 2 picks?
Did he have 2?
I think so.
I thought he had 1. Thought he had 1. Did he have 2?
I thought he had 2.
No, he had. You're right. He did.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was close because I don't know if you saw. Darnold had a lot of tips. I don't know if you saw. There was a lot of missed balls.
You were close. You didn't get your Trubisky pick, and you didn't get your whatever pick. I did get my Patriots pick and my Aaron Rodgers 4 touchdowns beats the Dolphins pick. Not a good sign. And by the way, nailed my parlay. Not a good sign if you're the Lions or the Eagles right now. Prano's on a heater.
Well, that's actually going to get to my point. So I'm watching the game.
Considering you're not the world's biggest booze hound, do you want me to just take the Miller Lite 6-pack of picks from here on out?
No, I got it.
You can give us some Dr. Pepper 6-pack of picks.
Well, it's funny. I nailed in my pick 6 league.
Kombucha 6-pack of picks.
Oh yeah, get the booze. I've been doing that. Dr. Hums or whatever it is. It's like a low carb kombucha. It comes in cans. It makes it feel like it's a beer. Like
Dr. Hums is the name of the chick that gives hand jobs outside of the Applebee's for fucking downtrodden Bengals.
That was Joy Taylor's name before she went on TV. Dr. Hums, give me a reach around outside the studio. Okay, so I'm watching the game last night, and I'm seeing these quarterbacks, and I'm like, man, especially Darnold, to be honest. I don't know if you saw it, dude. He had so many misses on Justin Jefferson, and I'm like, dude, it's a different ballgame if you connect on some of these. Anyway, and then DJ Sizzle was texting me.
DJ Sizzle.
I don't know if he was on acid last night, but he was like, dude, this quarterback play. And I said, it's funny you say that. I was like, who do you trust? I'm going to bring this up on Dirty Sports with Prano. I was like, let's look at the NFC QBs. And I want you to rank them. I'm going to go in order of how they're seated.
Okay.
So we got 7 QBs.
Yeah.
So Goff, Hurts, Mayfield, Stafford, Darnold, Daniels, Love. And then he gave me his list. And we didn't rank them in order. We just whether we trust them or not. I'm curious. I bet you're going to agree with me. Who do you trust the most?
Just quarterback, like in a vacuum, not with their teams, not with whatever. Just in a vacuum, like Team X, draft these quarterbacks 1 through 7.
Well, no, more so. Who do you trust come these 2025, 2024? I don't know how they do it. Playoffs
to play well. Not necessarily
yes.
Yeah, okay. Stafford.
So you're me. I said Stafford first.
Yeah.
I said I trust Matthew Stafford more than all these quarterbacks. Again, I agree with you. I'm not saying the Rams are making it to the Super Bowl. I'm saying quarterback play.
Right.
We trust him the most. Okay, so we agree.
Love.
Interesting.
Who would be next?
You would go Jordan Love.
Yes.
Okay. I'd probably go Jalen Hurts.
Yeah. Because you and everybody else, I mean, this is
What, I
literally.
love the tush push. I do love the tush push.
No, but I've made a career doing this. I made a career being like, you guys are getting enamored with the fucking. Oh, he's got a good team and a good defense. He's got great weapons. And he's got a good running back. Like, I mean, we should just call him Big Cock Jalen. Dude, he squats 600 pounds. I don't care.
Okay,
He also
so
may or may not fucking play because he's concussed.
Okay, so you're going.
Also, do you know what the name of the quarterback who played for the Eagles this week was? It wasn't Kenny Pickett, by the way. Do you know the third string quarterback?
Who was it?
I don't know, but he looked pretty fucking Jalen Hurtsy.
Well, I know they played well.
I'm not even going Jalen Hurts third.
Okay. So you're going Jordan Love too. Who's your third?
Daniels.
See, he's the interesting one for me, Jaden Daniels, even though he's never played a playoff game.
Upside to the moon. Then I'll go Jalen Hurts before fucking I go Mayfield.
Wow. This is kind of crazy. You have got, I know we both have Darnold last, right?
Yeah.
That's a no-brainer. We both have Darnold last. You have Mayfield. You have Baker Mayfield ahead of Jared Goff.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going Jared Goff, Sam Darnold as your 6-7 of guys you trust the most come this playoff time. Interesting. By the way, I'm not saying I like.
Here's the thing. Baker Mayfield will make the fucking dumb throw. Baker Mayfield will make the reckless play. Baker Mayfield will stuff a ball in a window that he shouldn't have, and it'll get picked. Baker Mayfield will stuff a ball in a window that he shouldn't, and it'll be a touchdown. Jared Goff and Jalen Hurts to me, and Sam Darnold in a similar way. It's like, if you only make the easy throws, I don't give a shit. Now, I think Jalen Hurts with more Jalen Hurts. I trust Jalen Hurts more. I'll take Jalen Hurts with his squad and the game manager ability over Baker Mayfield's higher upside. And I'll also take Jalen Hurts' higher downside, right? Baker Mayfield's got a much higher to low spread. So I'll take Jalen Hurts with his team to just game manage and only make those throws. I don't trust Jared Goff against playoff teams. I don't. And Sam Darnold, I don't trust against playoff teams either. And I think that there's a lot of fool's gold there. He has an incredible receiving core. Like, no, I'm going Stafford, Love, Daniels, Hurts, Mayfield, Goff, Darnold.
Interesting. So I would go, if I'm doing it, I'm going Stafford, Hurts. Daniels was tough for me. I'll probably put Daniels 3. Goff surprisingly 4. I didn't do Love yet, did I?
No.
That's tough. All right, let me do this again. All right, so I'm going to say Stafford 1, Hurts 2, Love 3, Daniels 4, Goff 5, Mayfield 6, and Darnold 7. But the truth is, to me, there's not a big discrepancy on a lot of those guys. I mean, look, Goff has played in the Super Bowl. I think coaching matters a lot, obviously. Don't forget, they have so many playmakers in the Lions too, man. I mean, the receiving core.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Don't forget. I have them 6, dude. What are you fucking talking about? Don't forget.
Like, Gibbs is a great back. I just, I mean, it helps the quarterback obviously a lot. But after watching that game, I just am like, dude, the Vikings, I was like,
Matthew
Let's have a-
Stafford is a large supreme.
yeah,
Jordan Love, in my opinion, is a large cheese pizza. Jaden Daniels right now is a large meat lover's thin crust. You're like, is that enough to feed us? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Jalen Hurts is a medium supreme that the driver left on top of the car and pulled away. And then he looked back and he was like, Jesus Christ, they won't notice that it's been fucking mashed around a little bit. What am I going to do? Make him a new one? Baker Mayfield is just cheesy bread. He's like 7 orders of cheesy bread. And you're like, is that even is that a meal? Are we technically having a meal if we just have sides? Jared Goff is a medium pizza. And Sam Darnold is a medium pizza that was half eaten by the Jets.
no, this is Sam Darnold. I've been giving Isla these frozen
Sam Darnold's bagel bites.
Yeah, I've been giving her these miniature. No, this is what I was gonna say. I've been giving her these miniature frozen pizzas, like I've given her, like occasionally from Costco. I don't know
Teenage
the
Mutant
brand.
Ninja Turtle fucking.
No, like I don't know the brand, but like the truth is, like, I've said, oh, this is a good little snack. Like I throw it in the air fryer.
Yeah.
There you go, a little air fryer plug. I know you love air fryer talk, but
Sam Darnold is an air fried child's pizza.
Which again, like at times, you're like, oh, I'm not that hungry, but like I need a snack at 10 o'clock on a Saturday night. I could eat that. Which again, at times he looks nice, but then you're really hungry. You're not eating that. No way in hell. I mean, right now, the Vikings are the favorites heading to Los Angeles, where they already lost this year against the Rams.
Oh, we're not even gonna don't even, because I have so many thoughts and so many predictions.
Well, me too. And then I'm gonna find it interesting if the seeds hold up and there's no major upsets. If the Rams win that and then they go to Detroit, that's a tough one for the Lions. Now they've beaten them the last 2 times. They beat them last year in the playoffs, but yeah, we can save that for later. Okay. So that's the NFC. We might as well just do the AFC.
Okay.
Obviously, we both are going to have.
Oh, we're ranking the quarterbacks again.
Yeah. Obviously, we'll have Mahomes. Like, that's no question. I think
Mahomes is like Joe's Pizza on fucking in Greenwich Village. Not a slice, he is the franchise. He is a historic. He's John's Pizza on Bleecker. He is a historic pizza place that has existed for over 115 years. Brick oven. People travel across the world to eat pizza there.
Yeah. So I think we're both going to agree on our 1, 2.
Mahomes is 2 large pies from John's Pizza with
Is it John's or Joe's?
No, Joe's is the slice right there. But now I'm going John's is where you sit for John's. You bring a family of 6. You get 3 pies. Everybody gets draft beers. Unless you're not drinking, then you get the red cup full of soda. He's a sit down restaurant for pizza. He's Spumoni Gardens.
So we both agree.
Make that the title. Patrick Mahomes is Spumoni Gardens.
Where's Spumoni Gardens?
Oh, it's out in Brooklyn. That's the best slice of pizza I ever had in my life.
Man, you're making me want pizza. All this great pizza talk right now. You're making me hungry.
Josh Allen too.
I was gonna say we're probably gonna agree on both the top 2.
Yeah,
we both agree. Josh Allen's 2. This is what Josh Allen is. I don't even know the name of this place. When I was at Lake of the Ozarks, we've been out all day. My buddy's drinking. I'm just like out of my mind on edibles. Probably did half a milliliter or half a gram or something because I'm such a lightweight. I was so stoned, and my buddy ordered all these pizzas from this place, and it was so good and it hit the spot. Like, you're like, wow, I don't know this place. This is Josh Allen, man. Like he's gonna deliver.
Josh Allen is the one-off pizza restaurant, like you said, not a chain. But you go, it's like that was like Terry's Pizza or whatever and whatever. And then if you're around that town, you get this shit, and they're like, oh, the summer crowd's coming in, the lake houses. They drop the thing. They send a guy around to drop the thing. Josh Allen is the Terry's Pizza, 2 large pies with a 3-liter Mountain Dew for fucking $16.99. He's that family meal deal coupon you get for a good pizza place.
No, so we're in agreement, and it's funny. This will be interesting how this might just play out literally how they're seated. I'm going in order how they're seated, right? You got the 1 Chiefs, Mahomes, the two Bills, Allen. Actually, although you're going to play this differently. Number 3, who you trust the most?
You're going Lamar. I'm going Justin Herbert.
I am going Lamar.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, man. I know we keep talking about this MVP. I've never seen an MVP race where I'm like, what a toss-up this MVP race is.
Did you ever do Pizza Hut buffet in your life?
Come on, bro.
You remember dessert pizza?
Yeah.
You remember how fucking good dessert pizza was at the
Dessert
Pizza Hut buffet
pizza.
with like the drizzle sauce?
Mm.
Dessert pizza is the shit.
Mm.
Honestly, hard for me to say I enjoyed anything more than I enjoyed Pizza Hut dessert pizza at a Pizza Hut buffet. Also, if I showed up at a Pizza Hut buffet and they only had dessert pizza, I'd be like, I can't eat here. You can't. I can't just eat 10 slices. I'll get diabetes. Lamar Jackson is dessert pizza. Like that's not. Is it even pizza? I don't know. It's pizza technically, but like, it's fun. It's crazy delicious. Honestly, I've never seen anything like it before or after.
Which is like Lamar Jackson.
But if you told me it was my meal, I would say that seems reckless, and I don't think that's a good idea.
What you're basically saying, let me sum this up. Let me just kind of put this in context. I think I know what you're saying.
Lamar Jackson is dessert pizza is what I'm saying.
No, but my point is, like, it's great, but it can only go so far.
Like it's
It
great.
exists in a vacuum.
Yeah, like it's great in addition to thing, and it's like, oh, it's fun and it's whatever, but it's like that's not your life.
It's like I've seen Lamar now a few times live, and I've said this. There's nothing like seeing Lamar Jackson live.
Lamar Jackson, like the what the Ravens are doing, the Ravens were like, you remember dessert pizza from Pizza Hut? They're like, yeah. Well, I got an idea. A whole restaurant that only serves dessert pizza. And you're like, oh, that'll get some clicks on Instagram. And for 6 months, you're going to get some fucking people in there. And then after 6 months, people are going to go, well, that was fun. Shut that restaurant down. We can't do this forever.
I love how this bit was ranking on trust, and you took trust and you said, no, we're going to go back to pizza.
It's the ultimate way to fucking rank quarterbacks.
Okay, so Lamar's dessert pizza, but you didn't say what Justin Herbert was for you because you had Justin Herbert ahead of him.
Yeah. Here's what Justin Herbert is. Justin Herbert is a really nice. Justin Herbert is, that one pizza place you find and you're like, oh, I'm gonna do a large and a medium. And they're like, oh, do our XL. And you're like, what the fuck is an XL? And you're like, oh, dude, it's like a 36-inch. And just Justin Herbert's just like a solid extra large cheese. Like you're like, That's kind of crazy how big it is. It's like your large pizza, but it's bigger, better.
All right. So left on the list, you have CJ Stroud,
Yep.
your boy Russell Wilson, and Bo Nix.
Okay. So I went Mahomes, Allen, Herbert,
Jackson.
Okay, so now I got to rank the other three.
Yeah. And who you trust most in the playoffs?
It's tough. It's tough who's next.
It is tough.
I probably trust CJ Stroud next.
I was going to say, I'm going to go CJ Stroud.
Yeah. I probably trust CJ Stroud next.
He's got a high ceiling. Now, I know he's really struggled this year. I saw a great side-by-side. I don't know how many stats or how many games it's been, but like him versus Bryce Young, like the last 8 starts, Bryce Young's playing way better football. But CJ Stroud, I would go with him as well.
Yeah.
He's a good pizza from like a chain.
Yeah. I was going to say he's a good pizza from a chain, or he's like a medium he's like a really well done, like barbecue chicken medium pizza. And you're like, it's fucking, I don't usually do like the barbecue chicken, but this thing fucking slaps.
Yeah.
But it's a medium. I could have used more of this pizza.
All right, so we agree here, and then here's the question: is like, are you going with the rookie who's never played a
I'm not, only because Bo Nix is older than Russell Wilson. So if he wasn't, they're actually very similar.
Did you watch the end of that Steelers Bengals game?
Yeah.
I was texting Justin. I said, never seen Russ took. I was laughing. He took a 3-yard running play, didn't run out of bounds. And I'm like, did he forget how to play quarterback? Dude, the Steelers are going to get their ass kicked.
Yeah.
And even in that, and as poorly as Russ played in so many aspects of that game, he had some great passes to Pickens that just like changed that game, right? If he catches them. But them as an offense are so bad.
Yeah.
They're going to get their ass kicked, I think.
Yeah. Russell Wilson is the pizza where you're like, where the one guy's like, I like it well done. Tell him to do it well done. And then you get it, and it's Tommy Frazier black. And you're like, what is this? And you're like, you said as well. Russell Wilson is
Frazier black.
Russell Wilson is my ex-girlfriend putting a frozen pizza into the oven and then falling asleep because she was drunk.
You know what's amazing? You've made so many Tommy Frazier black references, and I love that anybody our age or like within our 5, 6, 7 years is going to get that, and everybody else is like, who the fuck is Tommy Frazier?
Guy won national championships.
Guy was good. Guy was legit on Nebraska.
Because the pizza place where they make the Russell pie, they call the oven the pocket. And it's just in there way too long. It just hangs in the pocket. They're like, should we take it out? He's like, nah. It needs 10 to 15 more minutes in the pocket.
Get rid of the ball, bro.
Yeah.
Get rid of the ball. And then you have Bo Nix.
And then they're like, and then the pizza guy goes, and they're like, oh, you're taking the Russell out earlier than usual. He goes, I'm just going to move it around in the pocket a little bit. We'll slide it over here, slide it over there, maybe lower to the other side of the oven. He's staying in the pocket. I'm just going to shift him around a little bit.
So what's Bo Nix? He's got an upside.
Yeah.
Or is he, you talking about how old he is? Is he that pizza that was pretty good that you forgot you had in the fridge like 2 days later?
You know what Bo Nix is? Bo Nix. So this is for me as an Italian guy. Sometimes, especially in New York, I would get to know a pizza spot, and I'd be like, "Yo, their chicken parm's pretty good." I go there for the chicken parm. Bo Nix is the pizza at the place that makes a great chicken parm. Like, yeah, sometimes I'll like get it if I'm like trying to feed a family or whatever. But like, if I'm just going on my own, like, what do you want, a slice? What do you want, a pie? I'm like, I'm just gonna get a chicken parm sub to go. Give me a chicken parm to go. And they're like, We got all this pizza. I'm like, oh yeah, I've tried it. It's okay. I'm more into your defense though. Sean Payton's behind the counter with a fucking visor and an apron trying to convince me to eat pizzas because he got fucking pies and anything. I'm like, listen, you do a good chicken parm, and I like it. And I come here once a week for a chicken parm. Just serve me the chicken parm. He's like, you want it pepperoni. I go, I really don't. I'm not interested.
I like it. I mean, look, I'm geeked about these playoffs. I probably have them every year, but like, especially in the NFC, I just think there's so many uncertainties.
I'm devastated. I mean, the interesting thing, because you and I both have Packers as our Super Bowl pick.
I don't believe in that anymore.
I don't. I mean, it's tough to believe in.
They went 1-5 in their division, man.
Yeah, 7 seed. It'd be a wild run for them to. But also the Christian Watson loss.
Yes, that's
tough. And Jordan Love he got banged up in that game.
Well, here's what's crazy. I'm just looking at, ESPN Bet. Dude, your odds-on favorite, the Lions now on their site for Super Bowl. Plus 300. Chiefs are plus 350. Bills plus 550, along with the Ravens. Eagles plus 650. I mean, the Chiefs are just going to have such a layoff.
Are you worried about that, or?
No. That's good.
Yeah.
I think rest up.
And then they'll play a close game in round 1. Bengals fans, in straitjackets in Arkham will be like, we could have taken them. We could have taken them. Take your fucking meds. That's what you should take.
Again, man, no one is more delusional than Homer NFL fans for their local team. No one. I mean, let me ask you something. As somebody who's obviously not from here, let me ask you something about, because I was thinking about this. I've reached the point now that I'm 4 years back in Cincinnati. It is utterly depressing, and I can't think of one. Maybe you can think of one off the top of your head. Name a city, a mid-major city like this, 2 pro sports teams, that has 2 ownership groups that both are not only terrible, but just employ in the higher management positions their kids or their relatives. You know what I'm saying? So like I couldn't think of a city where I'm like, both teams do it. Like both teams have their Nepo baby kids and grandkids. I was trying to say this to somebody the other day, praying on. I said, I don't think people realize I don't think people realize how bad it is in Cincinnati. You can have 2 bad franchises, or you can have 2 bad, or I was like, but you don't have it the way they're both structured is the same way. I can't think of one that I know of where it's like daddy's the owner, and then the VP or the president of operations is the son or the daughter. It's like both on both teams. Can you think of one?
No.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, New York again is a bigger market, so you have like, I don't know how the Knicks are run with Dolan. Obviously, has a bad history.
Yeah, but the reason the Knicks are finally turning around is he was a hands off with the Rangers forever, even though he owned both teams. Finally, he just got beaten to the point where he was like, "Fine, I'm not mad at it." He hired Leon Rose. He took a back seat. The whole franchise turned around.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so like you have that. Obviously, the Jets are a dumpster fire. The Giants, it's not all Nepo stuff.
No, it's a lot, but I plead the fifth on the grounds that my answer may lead to my incrimination.
Well, Again, my point was like that's a bigger market when you have way more teams. It's like I look at like now there's 3, but I look at like in this state. My point is in the state of Ohio. I'm like, okay, the Browns are a dumpster fire. They're also not. Haslam isn't letting, to my knowledge, his kids run the show. The Browns are dumpster fire, but then the Cavs are well run. It's like the Indians or the Guardians are well run. I'm like, stop supporting these. Like, I don't know how people do it. And I don't know how they spin stuff when their team and when their franchise or when these owners just do dumb things. I mean, you look at the Jets, they're interviewing Rex Ryan. Dude, he had a great run 15 years ago. Don't you think that's insane to me to even contemplate bringing Rex Ryan back? It's insane to me. He's been out of the game for too long. He's a TV guy now.
Yeah.
Like that's who you're looking at. I don't know if you saw the Jets list. It's like Ron Rivera. Okay, another retread. Rex Ryan. It's just like all these guys. You're just like, why?
Rich Kotite. Weird that he made the list.
Rich Kotite. Bruce Coslett.
Yeah. Tim Mangini, Eric's brother.
Tim Mancini. I bet he could crush some of that Spumoni Gardens.
Yeah, bro. I might have to take you there tonight. I might have to fly into Cincinnati, put you in a car, take you to Spumoni Gardens. That shit'll change your worldview.
I'm not gonna lie, you got me wanting that Pizza Hut dessert pizza.
Didn't that drizzle drizzle have a little purple tinge to it? Like it was like a raspberry drizzle. I mean, it is Lamar Jackson.
But I completely, like, you're talking about Patrick Mahomes. No, the title of this episode is Lamar Jackson is dessert pizza. Like, and if you know, you know.
Yeah.
Tell me you don't miss those Pizza Hut buffets,
dude. Every day I miss a Pizza Hut buffet. With those red plastic cups, that fucking fountain drinks out of those cups hit like crack.
And how about you?
Then you have the fucking, how about the stained glass lampshades that came down
in red?
Like with a Pizza Hut like logo in it. God damn. You remember like the under thing of like it kept it hot, like a little like.
And you said you were gonna get a side salad, and you never did.
No, who needs it? I'm saving room for dessert pizza.
Yeah, I'm like, I'll get a little side salad. Nope, never happened. I know I've shared this, dude. My favorite memory ever. I'm sure I've shared this a million times. My favorite memory of a pizza buffet ever is when I was hungover in Las Vegas all night. It's like 11 a.m. I'm driving home. Maybe got an hour of sleep. Definitely should not have been driving. But you remember the rule was, well, it's the next day. Nobody's pulling you over for a Dewey.
Yeah.
Nobody's pulling you over for a Dewey at 11 a.m.
Don't tell Jeff Dye that story. Jeff Dye's like, in fact, they will.
And I always forgot. I lived by a busy intersection, and on a street I didn't go to that much, but I always forgot there was just like so many fast food restaurants, and there's and it like hit me on the way home. I was like, there's a Pizza Hut buffet. It's like 5-6 minutes away. Dude, and I hit that motherfucker. And I mean, it was like a thing of beauty what I did. I went in there drunk, hungover, probably reeked the booze, and I crushed. I don't know how many rounds I did. I mean, I was like prime LeBron James. The way I was just mowing through that pizza, and then I went home and no lie, I slept for like 12 hours. I was like a bear hibernating.
I have a epic. I wonder if I've ever told this. Is a deep pull for the Dirty Sports. I wonder if I've ever told this story on this. When I was in high school, there was a Pizza Hut buffet a couple towns over, from my high school, right over the New York back. I went to school in Connecticut, so right back over the New York border. And actually, no, I guess I would have still been in Glendale, Connecticut, or Glenville, wherever. Right, outer Greenwich, Connecticut. There's a Pizza Hut buffet. So we would go regularly. One time we go, me and my buddy Mark, and we're sitting there. And it was always weird that you had to you still had a waiter or a waitress.
That's right.
And you just were like, hey, we're just going to go buffet. Okay, 2 for the buffet. But then you ordered your drinks through them, whatever.
Yeah, that's right.
So we were like, we'll do some Cokes, right? And we're going to do the buffet. He's like, all right. And he comes back. We go to the buffet, and he comes back over, no joke, with one of the little plastic thing they give you your bill on.
Yeah.
He gives us the plastic thing with our bill on it, with sugar cut in the lines and a straw cut in 2 next to it. And we were like, what the fuck is this? He's like, you the guy said you wanted Coke. And we were like, bro, you crazy. This guy's, and he's laughing. He's like, I'm just fucking with you. I'll get your Cokes. And we were like, all right. So then the whole time we're eating the Pizza Hut buffet. This guy comes back. He's got jokes. We're riffing with this dude. We're like, this guy's the coolest dude ever. We're laughing with him. We're having a good time. He's weirdly old. He's probably in his we're teenagers. He's probably in his late 20s, but he's kind of already balding, a little fat guy. But he's a guy. The dude had jokes, and we're having fun. I was like, yo, am I crazy, or is this dude the fucking man? He's hilarious. And he's like, yeah. And we literally were like, yo, let's just both throw $20 down each for a tip. This guy has made this a delight. So it's around Christmas time, and weirdly, in the corner, there was a weird Christmas setup of ceramics. There was a little Christmas tree and a ceramic Santa and a ceramic elf. And then there was a ceramic reindeer laying. And I was like, this guy's cool as fuck, but I'm taking that reindeer. So we stole the ceramic reindeer, and we were like, no, who gives a shit? That dude's the coolest dude. He's definitely not narking on us, right? Dude, the next day, it's in the police blotter, in the fucking newspaper. This ceramic reindeer was stolen from the Pizza Hut. Now, mind you, my friend Mark, who I was with, took it and brought it home and just put it on his kitchen table. And his mom was like, yo, is the ceramic reindeer that randomly showed up on my table last night the one that's from the Greenwich Time police blotter that apparently was stolen from a fucking Pizza Hut buffet in Glenville? And we were like, yep. And she was like, you guys got to go fucking take that back right now. Literally, we had to drive back to the fucking Pizza Hut and return. I don't even remember what we did, but I think we just went in and were dropped it in the front door and bolted. Had to return the ceramic reindeer that randomly made who gives a shit about it? The idea that the owner was like, oh, I have people come in here. My waiter's serving Coke lines to people, but I'm really attached to that ceramic reindeer.
That's hilarious. Tell me you wouldn't give her a Pizza Hut buffet now.
Oh yeah. Anyway, Bo Nix is the ceramic reindeer from that Pizza Hut buffet. Sean Payton overvalues him. No one even wants him. Why you put him in a police blotter?
I did laugh. I don't know if you saw the number. I didn't watch the game. The numbers he put up. At one point, he was 17-17.
Dude, I actually think, but again,
he surprised me how well he's played.
I joke about his age, but he, you get that kind of he played 6 years of major college football. It's actually very Russell Wilson-y because he came into the league kind of like a vet a little bit. I don't think that they're winning that game, but I'll preview it. I'm picking the Broncos to cover.
Yeah, he'll be 25 next month.
Yeah, he's 25 like Julio Franco was 19 when he came to the big leagues. Julio Franco retired at 61. They're like, he's 50. Can you believe it?
Julio Franco. I agree. I think it'll be closer than a lot of people think.
And I give him 0% chance to win.
I just know the Chiefs are just so happy that they don't have to play the Bengals. That's all I know. They're just sitting at home. Did you hear that they purposely stayed on the tarmac in Kansas City for 4 hours because it would mess
Yeah.
up their time? It was all planned. Wild. But I love the conspiracy. I don't even know where I saw it. I love the idea the Giants are playing the long game to tank for Arch by letting their coaches stay so that they suck again.
Yeah, that's a wild. I don't think that's it, but I'll tell you what, with the quarterback class the way it is, I wouldn't mind them drafting somebody else. And
do you think there's anything? I know this is crazy. There's anything to Mayo being fired for the Patriots winning and also losing the number 1 pick?
I don't know, but I saw. Did I not call that? Did I not call? I was like, they're gonna fuck that up.
Because obviously they wouldn't need to draft a quarterback, but the value they could trade with the number.
But also, none of the quarterbacks are like whatever. So like, whoever let's just like theoretically, with the way the quarterbacks are, neither Ward or Shedeur Sanders is going to be the highest rated player overall on the board. So you could also just take the best player at 1.
True.
You could just like take a left tackle to fucking, protect your franchise quarterback's blind side.
That's true. I want to give a quick shout out to Mike Evans for 11 straight years, 1,000 yards. I've seen a lot of disses. Some like people thinking they're funny with their memes, whatever. I get it. It's memes. So people do. And they're like, oh, he barely gets 1,000 yards every year. He's done it every year of his career.
Yeah.
He led the league in receiving touchdowns last year.
Yeah.
Like,
hell of a player.
Like, we've already said it. He's so underrated.
Now, listen, when you look at the receipt, like we go through the Reggie Waynes and the Torrey Holtz and the guy and the fucking like.
Where do you think here's a good question for you. So he's at 1,000 yards for 11 straight years.
Yeah.
Where do you think he is overall in receiving yards in history?
Between 10 and 20.
Nope, not even close.
No?
I shouldn't say not even close. He's 24.
Okay.
That just shows.
This is my point, though. My point was with the guys who are, with what we see, it's like Mike Evans is by no means some like lock Hall of Famer.
That's an interesting question right there.
Well, he's not a lock Hall of Famer.
I agree he's not a lock. I just think to do it for that many years straight, I don't know. It's kind of interesting. Right?
Yeah.
All right, let's get a quick call here. We didn't get this last episode. This was the call I had talked about. Our hotline, 310-359-8365. All right, here it is.
Joseph, Andrew, this is Adam Lane, number 1 Indiana Dirtball. I've got an idea for a segment on the show. We kind of do it throughout the show naturally, but thought it would be a good idea to put it into a segment. It could be John Gruden related, the grinder of the gears for the week, something that grinds your gears in the sports world. I've got a lot of these lined up, and you guys are more than welcome to chime in, of course. But I'd like to start it off. We have a lot of talk about the tush push. The thing that annoys me with the tush push is all the announcers that like to say, well, it helps that you have a quarterback that squats 600 pounds back there.
Did I say that before?
He has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
The offensive linemen are all low man wins, driving the defender off the line of scrimmage. He is picking a lane, picking a gap, and 2 guys behind him are shoving him in the back, and his feet most of the time are not even on the ground. What does his legs have to do with anything?
Nothing.
I don't know. Lots of discussion about the tush push. And I think Joe would agree with me. I think Andy just kind of enjoys the spectacle of it. But yeah, let me know what you guys think on thoughts on that, and if you got anything else that's been grinding the gears, just let us know. We're out.
I mean, did I not mention this earlier in the show? And I do not preview these calls at all. Did I not mention this? Come on, Mike, you got to see this. I know we've showed it 700 times before, but you got to see this. Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley having a squat off in the preseason. Look at these guys go. You imagine having two guys in the same backfield who squat over 600 pounds? That's got to be the first time that's ever happened.
Yeah, I know. I do laugh when they talk about the how much they squat. I do. I find it. I think it's an interest. I would call it a lot personally on a lot of plays. Like, I guess to me, it's a QB sneak on steroids. It still blows my mind how many times they don't call QB sneak on 4th and 1, 4th and short, 3rd and short. It blows my mind. I'm like, if you need a first down, like, and then they do a tush push, but like Tom Brady, come on. What was he known for?
Yeah.
Like just find a gap, do it. Now, yeah, I agree. I know what he's saying, because a guy like Tony Romo's like, have you seen him in the weight room?
Yeah.
Did you see how many 45 pounds were on that squat machine? Like, I get it. You know what bothers me? Here's one, guys, for you. And I'm sure I'm not the only one who thinks this. Why is, outside of Gene's territory, why is every rules analyst is a cuck? Like, he's walked in on his wife just getting railed. It's always the biggest. There's a few who aren't. Mike Pereira, I don't think is. Gene's territory is not. And all your Italian people, Blandino. The Italians are not cucks. I like those dudes. It's Terry. Is he gay Terry from Reno 911? Who's the Terry guy on Sunday Night Football? He's like, well, Chris, actually, if you look at the handbook, and I'm like, who are these nerds? I saw one during the Bengals Steelers game, and I was like, who the fuck is this guy? Well, it's by the rule book.
Well, I mean, speaking of Sunday Night Football, you know what grinds my gears? The appearance at all of fucking God, why am I blanking on his last name now? Jason Garrett. That grind every time I see him.
I agree.
Every time I see him. It's like fucking Henry Rugg teaching driver's ed. It's like, what are we doing here? I got 30 seconds to give you my fucking hot take. Meanwhile, I had 17 years in the NFL to give you takes, and all I ever did was coach teams to fucking nightmares.
Yeah.
Like, I can't stand it. I understand that it doesn't make you a great broadcaster or a great analyst to be a great player. But Jason Garrett is not interesting and like ludicrously incompetent at coaching football.
I think they've always had a bad crew, always on Sunday Night Football. They have too many people. I agree. Garrett's bad, but it's also like I don't want to think of what Phil Simms was a good quarterback, but like your kid is now on this because daddy was a good quarterback and a Super Bowl winning quarterback. It's just, I don't know. That's that stuff that gets on my nerves. I wouldn't say this grinds my gear, and I know we've talked about it. I can't get over the cosplay NFL fan is just blows my the thought of doing, especially now that I have a kid and a kid on the way. The thought of me as a grown man putting on face paint and going down to a game. It's just again, it doesn't grind my gears, doesn't bother. It's just I think you're weird.
Oh yeah. Clearly you're weird.
Right?
Yeah, obviously.
Like
It's a weird, it's like it's the weird like wannabe celeb, like you're just like needing the like weird attention.
But they all have but here's the problem with fan bases. They all like have these Twitter accounts now or Instagram accounts, and people, I don't give a fuck what the cosplay guy thinks.
Yeah.
Shit about football. You don't know shit. The fuck do you know?
And you know what you never see? You never see the guy who's dressed up as the Cowardly Lion being like, actually, I don't think we match up great with the Packers. Like, blah, blah, blah. It's always like, we're the best team that's ever been.
You're right. It's never negative.
Never
It's
like
never...
they're never even like realistic. Like, I actually think this is gonna be a really good game. They have a great running game. If they come out and Josh Jacobs runs like this, we could be in for a barn burner. What do I predict? I predict the Lions march like I marched down the yellow brick road in the Wizard of Oz. 79-3 Lions win. This is your prediction. You predict your team's going to score the most points in the history of the NFL, and you're going to have a 76-point differential in the game. I'll tell you what the Lions are going to do this year. The Lions are going to go 41-0. Or there's only 18 games in the season, dog.
Okay, here's one. Now all this conversation. I appreciate the call because now here's one that grinds my gears. The next, and I get it, it's a thing now, and there's Pro Football Focus and all that. The next level stat stuff. But by the way, you guys know this. I bring up stats a lot. I would call myself a stat guy, but like a normal level stat guy. Yeah. The like charts, and I'm not trying to take a dig at you, Tug, but like Tug would used to send me these guys. Oh, for like these are good follows for you, Ruther. And I started following some of these guys on Twitter, and you're like, okay, guy, like you're. And by the way, that's like another branch off of team fans.
Here's the thing about those. You brought it up, Pro Football Focus. I don't mind if you get into like the like advanced analytics, provided you're taking in like a ton of information and then processing your own opinion. I actually find the people, dude, Pro Football Focus, like you're just like you live and die by somebody else's opinion of things. Like, well, Pro Football Focus says like, okay, Chris Collinsworth was born with male and female genitalia and keeps talking about like he's on a fucking thing with Jason Garrett every week and is talking about how like I let Patrick Mahomes give me a fucking rusty trombone if he asked. I would never. I mean, look at this guy. He's unbelievable. Oh, he's so good. It's like cool. Some Mike Florio, Chris Collinsworth, whoever the fuck owns the like the people who think Pro Football Focus is like the end all be all of statistics. I'm like, who are you? Who gives a shit? It's literally an NBC sponsored analytics fucking.
By the way, that's called.
Remember when people were doing that with 528? That guy's out of a job now. That guy's with us on Substack because he predicted fucking Hillary Clinton was going to win the fucking election in a landslide. He was like, 528 says Donald Trump will receive 5 total votes. Hillary Clinton will receive 147.6 million votes, and Donald Trump will get 5. The 5 members of his family will vote for him. Otherwise, no one's voting for the man. He wins. He's like, well, shut down 528.com.
You know that's by me, right? Pro Football Focus. that's
Collinsworth. It's Collinsworth owned, right?
Yeah, it's its company. But no, I agree with you. I just what I was alluding to was we were talking about the cosplay fans. That's another branch of like each team. I noticed a lot of teams now have like their nerd stat of like, well, that guy has accountability. Like Brian does the stats for the Cleveland Browns, and you're just like, okay, dude. Like again, you can go down rabbit holes, and I'm a stat guy, but when you do it to the point. Basically, when you turn into a Jameis 1 of 1, and you're right, it's always positive.
It's fucking
It's always positive, and it's like, dude, you can spin it everywhere, any way you want. At the end of the day, the eye test also matters. And basic stats matter. Crunch time, playoff wins, all those things. Anyway, I think we summed that up. I'm sure we could go on and on, especially about NFL fans. You just got me thinking about this Cowardly Lion. I did like one last thing. I think
this is going to be a closer game than a lot of the pundits are saying. I think we might only win 56-1. They're only going to get an extra point. Well, that's not physically possible.
Again, I don't know why I always think of a dude putting that on in front of his kids. And the kid's like, man, it's my dad. My dad's going out of the game like that. Can you imagine?
Yeah. And the worst part is, not only does your dad leave the house dressed as a lion, but then some other dude comes and fucks your mom while he's at the game. I hate the Lions. Why? Every time dad goes to the Lions game,
Peter comes over.
Peter comes and fucks mom.
Bangs mom.
With this giant cock. Norm McDonald, the son of a cuck Lions fan.
Oh, man. Give us a ring, guys. 310-359-8365. That's a hotline.
You can follow me on all social media at Joe Prano. Come see me in Montana. Last Best Comedy January 31st in Bozeman, Montana. Yeah, that's really all I got. Oh, and a new Jay Moore podcast tomorrow with Jeannie Buss.
Noise.
Where I ask her about NBA ratings.
Ooh, tease.
Yeah.
By the way, before I forget, the pick'em results are in.
Oh, yeah. How'd you do?
That was my best week.
Oh, wow.
Got 11, you got 7, so
you pulled away at the end. What was that? That's the biggest gap we've ever had by a landslide. You think we've ever had a season that was separated by 5?
Yeah. Probably. So I won by 11.
It's crazy. Bravo to you.
Thanks, man. You still ended up with over 50% of your picks.
Yeah. In a tough year for me. Although I am making money, so just keep following my parlays, gang.
Well, I made, my pick 6 league, you got all 6 right. And I picked them yesterday morning. We knew like a big snowstorm was hitting here. And I'm picking them with a wild 2-year-old like tugging on me. I literally didn't remember what games I picked. And you know how crazy the end of the year is too. And I thought I had certain teams and I did. And I checked last night. It's tough to get 6-point spreads right. I've done it once this year to go 6 out of 6. I did it again last night. I couldn't believe it.
There you go.
So I'll
and for those people who asked,
what about your Survivor?
So I hemmed and hawed, and then I was just like,
what did we agree on? The Chargers?
Yeah. Well, I was locked into the Chargers.
Okay.
But I hemmed and hawed, and then finally I was just like, I'm taking the split. I took the split before the weekend, but we both made picks anyway. I picked the Chargers, he picked the Bengals. We would have split either way.
Oh, okay. So it didn't matter.
Yeah, it didn't matter. I thought for sure he was going Bills. And when the Patriots won, I was like, I just was like kind of like, fucking bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. Let's just give me my money. I'm planning a wedding.
I'm gonna give you an easy or a little sneak peek. If the Chargers win, that is a team the Chiefs do not want to face.
You can go back to this. You can go back to me predicting that was a team that could beat the Chargers, could beat the Chiefs. Then I said on this show, third time.
Third time is tough.
Out.
And
I agree.
Both games close.
I agree. No doubt about it.
And if that lines up, and I think it will, I mean, you never know if there's upsets, but I think the Chargers win this week. If that lines up, that's potential for a career-changing game for a Justin Herbert.
Yeah. They got to get through Houston first, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think they will, but if they do, could be an interesting game. All right, guys, let's get out of here. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Much love. We'll see you guys on Friday. Have a great week. And as always, stay dirty.